All right, so this is part 1 out of 4 for my iPhone 13 review videos. Starting off with the phone I will personally be upgrading to, the iPhone 13 Pro. And if you want more information about the international giveaway, stay to the end of the video or just look in the description. So let's talk about the iPhone 13 Pro. And I'm going to focus more on my experience with the phone rather than telling you stuff you already know from the hundreds of iPhone videos on the platform already. So first things first, why did I choose the iPhone 13 Pro over the other devices? Simple. The mini is too small for me, and I admire Apple for building something so compact, which is right here. And despite this being the most value-friendly of the flagships, holding the device in my hand kind of feels like a toy for me. Now, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, sorry, I had to think about that for a second, is too big for me. And someone is banging above me. But the iPhone 13 Pro Max is way too big for me. And I'm also not on my phone that much to the point where I'd actually enjoy the bigger display. And in my lifestyle, the iPhone 13 Pro is more of a nuisance in my life than a benefit. The hardest decision for me was the Pro or the regular 13. Now, the 13 is fantastic, but this single point is what made me go over to the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, I usually don't upgrade my phone often. This is the first time in 5 years where I'm buying the latest iPhone as my personal device. Since I rarely upgrade, I figured I might as well get the Pro over the regular 13. And I also just like the outside look compared to the 13 Pro versus the regular one. That's it. Now, does that make the other devices bad? Not necessarily. It's like the saying, different strokes for different folks. Okay, so on to the phone itself. Now, this is a subtle change, but I was this close to getting the iPhone 12 Pro last year, except for I had one major problem with that phone, and it was the weight. The 12 Pro felt top heavy to me, whereas the 13 Pro, Apple seems to have found a nice balance, which makes it really easy to hold in the hand. And the best thing about this Pro, I would say, starting off, is the battery life. Now, usually I don't speak too much on battery life, but I was blown away after using this phone on a specific day. So I was showing a friend downtown because people just want to be a tourist whenever they come visit me, which is fine, I'm not complaining, but my friend does not have unlimited data. So I enabled my personal hotspot for about 3 hours in total. I had maps on throughout the entire day. I also had a 5G connection, but it was also occasionally a 5G ultra capacity connection. So I was getting about half a gig upload and download speeds, which I was constantly sharing. My location service was being used with those scooters you get around. I'm taking 4K videos and photos, and then those get uploaded to the cloud in the background. I can't forget to mention the 120 hertz display. I'm surfing the internet occasionally to Google stuff, and the phone just kept on going. Throughout the entire day, this phone lasted about 28 hours. From the time I unplugged it at 8 a.m., it finally died around 4:30 a.m. because we were just talking about things like life, world, billionaires, religion, money, everything. We were just bored. So I was also airplaying videos to the TV behind me at the point where I was just trying to kill this phone because I was like, this is the longest 1% battery I've ever seen. But seriously, the battery life on this device is phenomenal with all the features turned on. I didn't even go to low battery mode. I didn't drop down to LTE only. It just kept on going. I'm telling you, when you get the iPhone 13 Pro, don't even get me started on the 13 Pro Max. You will not be disappointed in the battery life. Okay, let's talk about the cameras next. And I'm not going super in depth because I'm not really a camera person. I take a photo, and if the photo looks good to me, it looks good to me. Remember, everything you see on this channel is shot on an iPhone. I just let Apple do its autofocusing, the colors. I just hit record, let the processor do its job. Now, the craziest thing for me when I moved over to this phone was night mode or just lower shots in general. It's incredible I am just blown away by the photos it takes at night. So one night I went on a walk and I was decided to take some photos by a lake, and I mean, I could barely see any of this stuff. And looking at this photo right here is shocking to me. Let me move on to the next photo. That one's not that cool. Okay, so taking a look at this photo, you might think that, okay, you're getting some help from the street lights, but trust me, the street lights were not that bright in real life. It was pretty dim. And looking at the shore here, it was pretty much pitch black. And if you zoom in, you'll notice that there's a basketball in the middle. I was just blown away when I saw this photo. The other thing was I took a photo looking up at the sky, and the sky was pitch black. And looking at this photo, I didn't even realize that there were clouds in the sky, and the iPhone was able to, capture that for me. So night mode is truly incredible. This last photo here, pretty much the same thing. There's clouds in the sky, but you can also see the foliage on the left-hand side from the tree. It's really green. I'm just, wow, like night mode is incredible. More people need to use it. But let me get off night mode because night mode's been here for a while. It's just a person coming from the iPhone 10 to the 13 Pro, using this daily. It's been pretty nice using night mode. So the other nice thing about this camera is the macro and the telephoto. It's really the telephoto lens, but there's also macro now. You don't realize how good close-up shots are until you go to a phone without one, like when I went back to the iPhone 13 and 13 mini. And I found myself taking more close-up shots on a daily basis just for like reminder of things. A good example, my friends who know me, when I go shopping, I snap a photo of the tag and I look for it cheaper online. So this telephoto and the live text is just the icing on the cake. And you also just have that other benefit of macro mode. And it just makes taking photos that much more enjoyable. What else does this have? Cinematic mode. I was trying to snap, but I just pointed. That was a horrible snap. Anyway, cinematic mode is also great and fun to use, and I might lose some people here, but it records in Dolby Vision and HDR by default, and I can't find a way to disable it, and I don't have the time and resources to change my workflow over to the iPhone, so you probably won't see cinematic mode on this channel for a while, because that was something I was really looking forward to, having like a blurred background effect when I take my photos, or videos I should say. But overall, the cameras and the software are a huge upgrade coming from the iPhone 10. So let's move on to the next big category, which is this display. Now, the best thing by far is being able to see this phone outside. I'll talk about ProMotion in a second because I really don't care for it. But in all seriousness, using this in direct sunlight with sunglasses on is so much easier on the eyes. In terms of color and richness, I still think my iPhone 10 display has aged like fine wine because it still looks amazing, but it just doesn't get as bright as I need it to. But now let's talk about ProMotion. So I talked about this in my live stream during the announcement, but Apple has some really smooth animations. After about an hour or two, maybe even less, you kind of just get used to it. And to be completely honest, it looks like 60 hertz to me. Or I should say a regular iPhone screen for normal people, not to offend you. You notice the difference when you go back to a non-ProMotion iPhone, but once again, after about an hour or two, you kind of get used to it. I was jumping between the iPhone 13 Pro, the regular iPhone 13, back to my regular iPhone 10, and I got used to it in like 15 seconds. Not 15 seconds, that's a little ridiculous. I meant to say 15 minutes. Around 15 minutes, I was used to the display. It's also probably not that important to me because I don't really utilize ProMotion other than seeing apps open smoother and scrolling on Safari. I know if you play games, you can get, I guess, a competitive edge, but ProMotion, it's like whatever for me. I will say though, if you are on your phone a lot, like this is your main way of accessing the internet, sure, it might be worth the extra money to pay for the ProMotion, but for 99% of people, they're not gonna notice or care. That's just the reality. I forgot to mention the smaller notch, but my brain just removes the notch. I should probably make a video on the notch. I really don't get why people hate it so much. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the price. This is a staggering $999. I say that, but overseas it's probably like 1.5 or twice the price. No matter how rich I may get, I don't think $1,000 for a phone will be cheap. It is expensive. If you think $1,000 for a smartphone isn't expensive, shoot me a DM because we need to be friends and I need to hang out with you simply for your money. Now, I didn't do any type of trade-in. It was a lot of pain, a lot of agony, a lot of restless nights. But as a person who is heavily invested in the Apple ecosystem, and I can slowly feel my iPhone 10 becoming more of an annoyance, it kind of made it worth it, especially since I don't upgrade often. I think I already said that. The other nice thing is that Apple increased the base storage from 128 gigabytes. Thank you, Apple. That was much needed. So that is my honest review of the iPhone 13 Pro. I think this is the best iPhone 13 out of the 4. And as a person holding onto the iPhone 10, it could have lasted me another year, but I think it was time for an upgrade since Apple indirectly, potentially, allegedly, just putting out all these disclaimers, sabotaged my phone when repairing it. I'll probably make a separate video on that because I was pretty upset. So hopefully you guys found this video informative, but now let me give you a little bit more information on the giveaway. So despite my small channel size, I know my viewers are from around the world now, not just the US and Canada. And I also understand the complexity when it comes to doing international giveaways. Not really. I just know that international giveaways are much more of a headache than domestic giveaways, Canada included, because they're basically US. But I wanted to make it fair for everyone, so I am teaming up with Dbrand to give away 2 iPhone 13s. Dbrand will be providing skins if you win. If you are selected outside the US, don't worry about fees or tariffs. I'll handle it. Just enter, cross your fingers, and hope you'll win. I'll do the rest. It's like the movie Halloween Town. There's no reference to that movie. I just wanted to shout out 90s Disney original movies because those movies were top tier. Hocus Pocus, let me stop. Anyway, I appreciate every sub, like, and comment. And as always, guys, much love. Next iPhone video coming soon. Hopefully you win too. I'm entering the giveaway too, so if I win, Dbrand, send me some skins. I need some skins for this phone. Appreciate you.